All right, Cardano is still looking weak when I take a look at the price action on the daily charts. It doesn't look bad, it just looks weak in the short term, and we're going to talk about that today. And to be clear, everything I'm about to mention in this video is for the short term. It's over the next few days slash few weeks. It has nothing to do with the long-term health of Cardano or the long-term health of crypto, both of which I am bullish on and hoping to have a really good year in 2024. You can see back in October, we were down around 0.25. And again, it's hard to complain because we went 2.5 times up from the end of October to the end of December. So in 2 months, if your financial instrument or investment can go up by more than 200%, well, that's a pretty darn good investment. Of course, we have been giving back some of the gains since December, and that has not been unique to Cardano. We've seen that across many of the crypto coins, and I just want to point that out real quick so you know I'm not just picking on ADA right now. We definitely see a downward trend here. Ethereum, we've got a downward trend. Doge, we've got a downward trend. VET, we've got a downward trend. Solana, we've got a downward trend, and so forth and so on. And yes, much of that is being pushed or pulled down rather because of the fall in the Bitcoin price. And also just because, again, when I zoom out, you've got to expect some pullback or retracement or correction, whatever term you want to call it, when you do something like that, right? When something does that almost parabolic rise, you've got to expect some kind of pullback, and that's what we are experiencing in Cardano right now. Now, this was our high, on the 28th of December. Since then, we've made a pretty big fall down to 0.46 roughly, and we have not hit that area yet. That was the fall after the Bitcoin flush from 45,000 to 41,000 on the 3rd of January, which pushed a lot of the altcoins down to their support, and we had lower days after that. I've mentioned that in several of my videos. That was the cause of this fall. And ever since then, we've been in a downtrend, which is, in definition, lower lows and lower highs. I've got a high, I've got a low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, perhaps a lower low. We haven't exactly finished that up. We're kind of doing another trend inside of a trend, and we'll just have to see what happens there. But there is no doubt that this area I have marked in ADA has been very important. We've kind of been yo-yoing around it. It's been acting as a magnet from about 0.52 to 0.54. It's an art. It's not a science, so those numbers aren't exact. But you can just look at this level right here has held many wicks, tops and bottoms. There's a wick, there's a bottom, there's a bottom, there's a wick, and throughout this kind of oscillating back and forth. If I zoom out, you can see this level right here was the top of this swing high, the top of this swing high. So it contains a lot of price, which just means those levels are important because they contain buyers and sellers on either side, and people are watching that level because it has been historically important. When we zoom in here, this level is still holding. It's still acting like a magnet. Even after making these higher highs or lower lows and lower highs and creating this downward trend line, which we've seen across other coins, we're still kind of going back and forth around this level. So it's very important. I think we're going to see something. Let me put it this way. We could see something like a bounce somewhere in here and down. Okay. We could see it even bounce higher to this trend line before falling. We have to assume we're going to fall until we break this trend line, okay? There's downward pressure across all the coins. At the beginning of the video, I showed you a few, and there's others remaining I could show you. Bitcoin also has downward pressure. I also think Bitcoin is going to eventually hit 40,000 solidly, and then we'll have to see how the market reacts there. Until Bitcoin gets above 45,000 and stays, then it has no chance of going higher. It's going to have to get up here and rebase before getting up to 48. Until then, there's downward pressure in Bitcoin. there's downward pressure in altcoins, and there's downward pressure in ADA. Don't be fooled by this bounce. Okay, if price comes up to this bounce, to this line, it does not mean that we've broken out and are going to move higher. Until we break that trend line solidly, we have to assume we're going to continue lower. It would not surprise me if Bitcoin goes below 40,000, which I'm expecting here in the next few days or few weeks, for Cardano to fall below this 0.46 and enter this range of 0.4 to 0.46. Now, do I want that to happen? I do not. I hold ADA. I want ADA to go straight up. I want it to be very high. But I just have to look at reality right now, and reality is suggesting something like this if we get a bounce up to the top of this 0.54 level again. For us to give any indication that Cardano is going to move solidly higher, we have to break outside of this trend line, excuse me, which would put us above this 0.55, and we have to stay there and rebase. When I zoom out, you can see we're in the definition of a downtrend, and we have to assume that's going to continue until it doesn't, until it gives us some signals that we can pop out of the top. So for now, ADA still looks weak. What I'm talking about is over the next few days or weeks, it would not surprise me if we re-enter this level here, which is not terrible. Again, zoom out, that would still be rather constructive price action. Of course, I don't want to absorb a 0.68 to a 0.4 loss. That's not fun. That's a good bet. That's 40%. Nobody wants to see that. But if we can stay above this 0.4, we'll be fine. We don't really want to get into this area again, below 0.4. If that happens, then there's a broader talk about the market we have to have and what crypto is doing. But if that doesn't happen and we just bounce around here or even get into this zone, we're still setting up nicely for a break higher. It's just going to take some time, and I don't know when that's going to come. I do believe it'll be in 2024. So until we see that break above this trend line, we're just going to have to be patient and let this constructive price action continue to build us another base so we can hopefully set up for a nice run above this level of 0.68 later this year. All right, that's what I'm seeing in ADA. Stay with me. I'll keep you updated. Check back often. Y'all take care.